Good boy. There we are. Aloha from Honolulu, Ann. Nice to see you this morning. Hope you had a good 4th. Let me know where you're checking in from. We got Ann from Honolulu zone. There we go. We're going to gong ourselves in about 1 minute. Let me know where you're checking in from. I got Ann so far, but you never know. Sometimes I'm getting comments, sometimes I don't. But we're up and running, that we know. Here's the Casper boy. Oh, there's the Casper boy. There you go. Let's get this down. Oh, that hurts. Oop, big boy. All right, it's 8:30. We're going to gong ourselves in. Let me know where you're checking in from. I may or may not be getting your comments, but I see you when you pop in the screen there. I see that we got Elizabeth here with us this morning. Good morning, Elizabeth, from North Hollywood. Very nice. Good to have everybody here. All righty, here we go. We're going to spend our 20 minutes together. And think about how we might do our part in helping the world to wake up to a greater good. All right, let's take a deep breath in. We're going to let out the sound ah. Relaxing the shoulders. And the tone is just to remind us that we're sending out a signal. Hello from Moore Park, Reverend Tricia. Nice to see you this morning. We're sending out a signal. We live in a vibratory universe, and our consciousness acting upon the field, consciousness acts upon the quantum field, and it returns to us as the multiple dimensional aspects of our own divine selves. Here we go. And we'll let that energy shift into our heart center, and we'll just spend these 20 minutes together. Good morning, Candace from Palm Desert. Nice to see you this morning. All right. Well, you remember last week I talked about the call of the hour and the call of the summer. I am going to be leaving for Catalina Island tomorrow, and I will not be doing Coffee with Casper for 2 weeks. So we will be back on the 28th of July. So I hope you're going to have the rest of your July is going to be beautiful, and we're going to continue to do our work in the world, even though we won't see each other live for a couple weeks. So the call of the summer, the call of our time, is obviously, as metaphysicians, we know we're going to go to the quote from Emmett Fox that we've been sharing over the last few weeks. Your real self is the presence of the one within you. It is one with the presence of the one in all. Your real self is the presence of the one within you. And that high self is the I am consciousness, is the same I am consciousness that's in every incarnate soul on the planet. And we are one with that one. Now, we go to another line from Albert Einstein, which I'm sure you've all heard along the way. He said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Well, that goes way back to the John Lennon song called Imagine, right? Imagine all the people living life as one. And that's, of course, what is really true. And now when we look out at the world, we see a conflict, we see one side or one culture against another culture. We see battles over Bibles and whose Bible is the best Bible and whose laws are the best laws. And everyone in the United States of America, we celebrate the idea of religious freedom. Everybody is welcome to find their own path to the one. And I think it's good. Religion comes from the Latin word religio, which is to bind. I think it's good to be bound to something higher than just your small self. To be bound to the fact that I love my friend, the Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, talks about God first, source first, family second, friends third, community fourth, and then nations and states and larger communities and so on and so forth. But I do think we need to have a priority. We came from the light. We came from the light during this really critical time in human condition where we're going to let go of the eons of time where we have spent time believing that free will meant liberty, license without law, right? We have liberty and we have freedom to use liberty in accord with its own nature, that which is life-sustaining and life-giving. So we have to make those choices to become someone who's a really genuine liver of life. You know, the infallible sign of the presence of God, as Tehillah Don said, is the presence of joy. Joy is the infallible sign of the presence of God. So we should be living our lives, as Dr. Holmes, the great philosopher, said, we should have fun living, to constantly commune with the power that is within and around us, and to grow and expand with ever. To grow and expand means to get a higher vision of what is possible, right? To get a higher vision of how a higher order of life might be. What would happen if we really were to choose oneness and liberty and justice and freedom and equality and prosperity and a higher order of being for all? Now that goes back to the song, Imagine All the People. And imagination is more important than knowledge. So we then, now we go back to another fundamental truth, which is if it's going to happen to humanity, it has to happen through humanity, right? We have to be the ones who recognize and realize that we are the place, we are the feet on the ground, we are the place, we are God's hands in planet Earth as human beings. If it's going to happen to human beings, it has to happen through human beings. Now, one nation this week was shouting death to our nation, and then people are saying my good is greater than your good, and no, there's a higher order of being. If everybody is the same one, if everybody is the I am presence, and St. Augustine said, God loves each of us as if there were only one of us, right? What if we were to really accept the fact that I am the beloved of the Most High, and then recognize that everybody else must be? But now we see behavior that doesn't look like love and joy and freedom and harmony and peace and well-being and good wishes, peace on earth and goodwill to humanity and the earth. We see a lot of behavior that's not like that. Well, we're not talking about honoring the behavior of people. We're honoring the potential of people. All people have the potential to live in tune with the infinite, to live with a divine light covering and surrounding us. Divine light covers and surrounds me, and nothing but good can come to me. We can create that bubble of our own good, but it's only going to be meaningful if we extend that bubble out to others. You know, like for example, when you're looking at a sunset, right? What's the first thing you want to do when you see a beautiful sunset? You want to look to somebody who's with you, somebody else who's seeing it, and share in that same magnificence with them. Yes? Automatically, when something's really, really good, we want to share it. Well, what if we open that up to, there's got to be a way for all humanity to see this good, to go past the pain and suffering, to go past the violence, to go past the war, to go past the reaction of fear or flight, fight or flight, right? We have to be able to see and live from a higher order of being. That's why we often talk about daily we meditate. Daily we quiet the mind. 60,000 thoughts a day, most of them repetitive thoughts. We need to quiet the mind so we can look to see if my soul, as Meister Eckhart said, is gazing at the glory of God. Am I taking the time to ask what it's seeing? Am I taking the time to see that there's a higher order of being, a deeper level of peace that can enter my being? And now we look at the evening news or the newspapers and we see people yelling out prejudice and hates and fears. And we have to now imagine if they didn't do that. Imagine if divine right action filled that space where all that anger and rage and resentment and retribution, right? That we going after people. We don't have to go after people. We have to be the place of peace that invites a greater peace. We have to be the place of love that invites a greater love. So that means when we look out into the newspaper and we see a story of humans being less than awake, then we must imagine divine right action is in that spot. Rather than saying, if it's going to happen to us, it happens through us, well, we have to be the place where we can imagine a greater good happening. We can imagine people not going into the streets to yell death to one another. We could imagine peaceful protests bringing forth a transformation in the world, calling forth a higher level of good and love and integrity and joy from all the world leaders. We have to imagine the world leaders as being able to change their mind and open up to a deeper sense of belonging to the world order, to belonging to humanity and contributing to humanity. And you rose to power not just to gain power, but to use your influence to help other people become influential, to help each one discover a freedom, a joy, and aliveness in their true nature. And if they can't see it because they're filled with rage and venom and prejudice and fear and doubt and war and violence, then we must begin to see they have the potential to become peaceful people. They have the potential to become a loving presence in the world. They have the potential to transform the pain and suffering into joy and freedom and health and wealth and abundance and good. This good that we are claiming for ourselves, that we are demanding from the infinite, not because we're arrogant, but because we are receiving the gift of life itself. We are receiving the gift of my own life. Good morning, Mark and Kai from Atascadero. Nice to see you. Glad you're all here. So this is our work now. I'm going to go out onto the ocean. I'm going to go out onto an island. I'm going to go hang by the sea, the great depths of infinite possibilities, and see what my soul can remember, and see how I can be a place where I can imagine a greater good in the world headlines, that I can imagine the joy. If you saw any of the U.S. playing soccer, the underdogs playing soccer, and everybody singing by the thousands of different cultures singing Country Roads, Take Me Home to a Place I Belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. I mean, just lyrics filled with joy and fun and appreciation and singing and laughing together as a world community. We must be the place where we imagining a humanity awakening to itself. It is, as Dr. Holmes, the great philosopher from the last century, Ernest Holmes said, it's a wonderful experiment and a great adventure to make conscious use of the law. That's the law of the mind, the law of the circle. That which comes from me returns to me in my experience. Am I choosing love and joy and peace and harmony? And am I walking out into my everyday world, taking care of my everyday tasks, from laundry to dishes to shopping to cooking to all of the everyday tasks, bathing, all the things that we must do in order to live our lives in freedom and in joy and in comfort, right? There's still tasks, there's chop wood, carry water to be done. And am I in the midst of doing my tasks? Am I in the midst of being a joyful presence, an appreciative presence? I remember it wasn't that long ago. I was upset at my wife for no particular reason. I was upset because I was the one emptying the dishwasher all the time. Well, that's not exactly true. She emptied the dishwasher when she saw it was clean and needed to be emptied. And I was like, feeling overwhelmed because I had to empty the dishwasher. And I'm breaking dishes because I got anger in me over a household chore, like folding clothes. Why would you be angry because you have to fold the towels? There's no anger in that. It's just part of what we do in order to carry on. It says after illumination, the laundry. Before illumination, the laundry. So even the wisest, most awakened souls in the world have to chop wood, carry water. We have to do what is ours to maintain our homes and our household and create the kind of lifestyle that we want. And it requires energy in and energy out. But there's no reason to be inflamed about it. There's no reason for us to not find peace and love in the midst of it all. And we can, if we will retreat within the consciousness of our own awareness, if we retreat into the divine self and meditate on the peace, the love, the joy, the wisdom, the power, the grace, the providence, the magnificence, the blessings. Appreciation is appreciated. We talked about that. Putting my attention on that which I appreciate, magnifying that which I appreciate, putting divine right action wherever we see confusion in the world, allowing Serena Williams to play tennis in her 40s and do it well and she's going to win some and lose some. We're all in the process of learning how to extract the highest good from every moment of life. This is the day, the psalmist said, this is the day the Lord, the law of life, has given. And it's up to me to be rejoiced and glad in it. It's up to me to be a place of peace and poise and harmony and blessing in the world. It's up to me to be a beneficial presence in the world and to really work on asking myself, am I being kind, as the Dalai Lama, who just celebrated his 92nd birthday, am I being kind? Dalai Lama says, my religion is kindness. Am I being a beneficial presence? If I'm a light worker in the world, am I carrying that light? Am I sharing that light graciously with each and every one who enters in the arena of my experience? Am I being a transformative presence in the world? Imagine all the people living life as one. And it's up to us as awakening light workers to do that imagining. And even if we can't imagine it yet, living life as one. Wow, what would happen? I mean, even Gene Roddenberry, in telling his wonderful Star Trek stories, we couldn't figure out. He just bypassed economy and money and all of that stuff. We can't really imagine it yet, but we can imagine it's possible. It's possible for each person to find their niche in the world and to let their unique gifts bring them their good. It's possible for each person to live from the awareness that their true health is coming from the pattern of perfection already ordained and given. That we can live in health and wealth and love and success and not impinge on other people, but be an avenue that's an invitation to bring forth a greater good into the world, right? And that's what we're to do. I'm away for 2 weeks. You're a light worker in the world, with or without Coffee with Casper. Without me, everybody can be a light worker in the world. But we must take the responsibility of imagining a greater good happening wherever we see violence, wherever we see prejudice, wherever we see hate, wherever we see picking on cultures or nations. No. Everyone is an individual able to set themselves free according to their own mentality. And we must establish that mental equivalent of the greater good that can be, hey, Gail, nice to see you this morning, of the greater good that can come into our lives. We must be the instrument and the avenue of that greater good. Who you are is something magnificent. You're already aware that you're an immortal spiritual being, superior to your mind, to your body, and to your experience. Now call it forth. Bring forth that superiority, not as an arrogance, but as a divine light of peace, a divine light of joy, a divine love of wisdom, an invitation to a greater harmony and a greater ecstasy and a greater good. There's no limit to that good. Good and more good is yours. Then good and more good is mine. There's no limit. And it's not infringing on anybody else's. Each one must find their own path and establish their own mental equivalent. But we know how to do it. We've already been trained. We know there's the law of mind. There's the law of the circle. We can use our consciousness to direct our attention. Casper wants to come out. We can use our consciousness to direct our attention. And that's what we should be. That's what we should be doing. And that's what we are doing. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. This is Casper. I've had my coffee already, but I'm ready. I'm ready for a new day. I'm ready for a new time. I'm ready for a new peace, a new poise, a new harmony, a new balance, a greater love than I've ever known before. And so are you. And so we must be the place. Imagination is more impossible, is more powerful than knowledge. Let us be the ones who are starting to imagine a world that works for all, and putting that greater concept forward everywhere we can. Wherever we see hurt and pain and suffering, compassionately opening up and knowing a greater good is possible. We're the light workers of the world. If you've seen anything valuable in this or any of the snippets that I publish, during the next 2 weeks I'll be publishing snippets and putting them out there. And Coffee with Casper will be out there vibrating. You'll out there vibrating. Let's all do our work in the world now for these 2 weeks. It's summertime. Let the living be easy. Let it be joyful. Let the light shine. Let's call upon it. Let's do it together. Who you are is something magnificent. Share these videos. Share this connection. Share this awareness of a higher order of being actually being possible in our lifetimes, not just for ourselves, but for ourselves and everybody who touches the arena of our experience. Who you are is something magnificent. And until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We'll be back on the 28th of July live. Mark your calendars. Let's all gather at that time again. And until we meet again, bye. Go in the light, with the light. Bye for now. Have a great and wonderful July. We'll see you at the end of the month.